Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Higher State Show. Today I have a beautiful guest, special guest, Donna Martin, the Good Life coach, and she is helping business owners and company leaders to intentionally design and create their good life. Currently, what she wants to bring out more to attention is really the workspace and how we interact as a team in the workspace. How she's helping is through mindset and self-awareness, as those are elementary keys, I'd say, to really design a good life. And we all want to live a good life. So I'm very, very happy that you're doing the work, and I'm very grateful because we need those topics to be told of. And yeah, I know we will have a great conversation. You will go a little bit deeper into that topic as well. We already had a few lots and great conversations before we jumped on here. So yeah, thanks, Donna, for being
Oh,
here.
you're so welcome. I'm
Yeah,
delighted to be on, Jarne. Thank you.
awesome, cool. So if we think about the workspace, right? I worked in a place, I started working, I worked at the army after school. So this basically has been the first time that I went out on my own and earned my own money far away from home. However, this was a very short time as I wasn't designed for the army for long term. I just had to learn some lessons. But after that, I worked as a disability support worker. And the team dynamics is very, very important in there as well. And I could see how the differences are from a government run organization like the army, or like how much drill you have, right? And then going into the social work type of aspect, and everything is more smooth. Everyone talks with everyone, and it's kind of more harmonious. So this is how I just came to see the two extremes, I'd say, from how it is to for me as the army, where I didn't have to say any word, and then the other say my word was valued on the other side. So what do you receive right now when I'm mentioning those words that I felt valued, and I really people ask me for my point of view as well as a worker, right, working for someone.
Yeah, well, that's huge, Jarne. For me, like my background was in nursing. For over 15 years, I was a nurse and I worked for the government for the NHS.
Hmm.
Then I worked in Australia for a private nursing hospital and the difference, the alignment. And then I worked in the South for the Southern Board. And there are a lot of deviations and differences in how you work. And that is one of the key aspects and why I feel it's so important to bring this awareness through mindset into the workspace because when you're talking there about being valued, there are a lot of elements when you're just there, and especially if you have a lot of pressure on you at work and there's a lot of heavy emotional nursing, there was always a lot of heavy emotional needs and things and always understaffed and overpressured and you had a lot of different elements. It was just like a boiling point. You were always overworked, never paid, never treated. When I went to Australia, it was different. They would give you thank you cards. The clients would write cards of thanks and gratitude, and then the hospital would actually send them out to you at home, and you'd be like, God, that's actually lovely. Or they would give you a voucher for a cinema. I've talked to many workplaces about this. How can you show your staff that they're valued? And what is the point? What is the relation? And it is massive. People underestimate the power of an authentic thank you. They underestimate the power of gratitude. They
Hmm.
underestimate the
Yeah.
power of even if you can't help someone with their workload, that
Hmm.
you go to them in a face to face interaction with that energy of gratitude, which they can feel off you, which is not bought. You cannot buy this. It has to be within you or learn it, unravel it. This comes from self awareness. When you have that connection then to someone to give thanks, to acknowledge that they're under pressure, that they're overworked, or that we're at a point in our business, we are grateful for your help, for keeping going, for staying
Hmm.
with us at this time. And then when you are on an even keel in your business or in your workspace, showing that gratitude in another way. It's the difference between long term employees, happiness, harmony, balance and stress, sick leave, people not showing up, people not doing a good job. That comes to your bottom line. It comes to productivity. It comes to your financial remit at the end. So whether you're a business owner, whether you're a leader trying to lead a team, ask yourself this question: where are your results? go to your finances first, because obviously a business is a business with money. It runs, it functions, it pays for things, for people, for purpose, because that is a ripple effect to your employees that are paying for their mortgage, their car, their holidays. But go to your relationships then with your staff. What's your sick leave like? What is the energy in the workspace like? Is there people always doom and gloom? Is there people always fighting? Is there people always bitching, giving out, talking about each other? Because this is the worst toxic environment you can be in. So if you want productivity, if you want to elevate your workplace to a higher level in all aspects, both in prosperity of finances, in abundance of healthy, happier work colleagues, workspaces to be in, because a happier person in work, that ripple effect, and we talked about this
Yeah.
before, as a powerful leader, as a business owner, when you understand this truth of mindset, self awareness of who you are, what your mission, your value is, and then as an employee, what your role is, are you aligned with the mission and values of the company that you're working for? If not, why not? Because if they have a value and mission of putting something out there, for you to be connected to that, you have to feel valued. You have to be aware of the
Hmm.
mission and values. And then when you are content there in that space, the ripple effect comes out to you in your harmony at home. This is wider. It's not just in a workplace, it goes worldwide. So, yeah.
It's so cool. Like, I mean, I had several conversations like in the last weeks about like again also work and life and how there such thing in work-life balance, right? Is the question that's been asked as well in the conversations, and somehow how you approach one is how you approach the other, right?
Mm,
Like the mentality behind it, the mindset that you have, and how aware you are of yourself, right? The self-awareness aspect is so key because when you show love and appreciation, right, for the people around you, and you're right, it makes a whole difference. Every conversation changed, and you start to see really things falling into place for you rather than thinking, oh shit, like is life against me, right? Many people have that, like, and I've been in there. I'm like, really? Like, why isn't it happening? But I haven't been grateful for what I had, right? I wanted everything, though I had difficulties to see the value in what I already have. And then therefore with love and gratitude, it's been easier for me to enjoy the pleasures of life given and to see the abundance all around me, to allow it to come to me and flow through me rather than just trying to get it outside of myself.
mm,
And I think this is to bring it back to business owners and leaders generally, and if it's in big companies or for life as well, right? I feel like a mother is a leader, right? Even goes so
mm,
far. Like a mother is a leader, a father is a leader, and in their own roles, a teacher is a leader. And then for me, how much self-awareness are we bringing to the table? How much are we aware of the intention, right? Back to intention, which is a key aspect because I feel I change the intent that I'm approaching things with, and the result is just mind blowing. And even the tonality
massive.
changes. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So what's your take on that?
Well, the first thing that jumped out at me straight away was the average person works a 40-hour week. And
Hmm.
a lot of people work way more, 50
Hmm.
hours, 60 hours, 70 hours, until they're burnout, till they have a heart attack, till something happens, they drop dead in the spot, they go bankrupt, they have a nervous breakdown, whatever it may be. And you think we were taught that you have to grind, you have to work hard to be successful, to get somewhere. And my question is, with these teachings comes chaos, comes stress, comes
Hmm.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to do it rough and tough as how we were taught in the society. Now that's how I was taught in Ireland. It's that work
Yeah.
hard, play harder. For
Yeah.
me, I'm like, go to Pratt Pritchett, U Squared book. It is a phenomenal book with only 44 pages. And this talks about the fly bashing itself repeatedly against the wall. But if it would only pivot and change perspective, there's an open doorway. an open window, an escape route,
Mm.
just 10 feet the other way, but it keeps going in the one direction because that's the way it's programmed. That's what it's been taught. So,
Oh,
what have you been taught in school? What have you been taught from society? What have
yeah.
you been taught from business, from growing up? You have to do it hard. Why not change that and set the intention of
Mm-hmm.
doing it with ease and flow and fun?
Boom.
That's mine. Everything goes with simplicity, ease,
Yeah,
flow, and fun.
exactly.
Because why do you want it rough and tough? And
Mm.
you can be a hard worker. If you're in business, it is tough, like, as in, so many things coming your way. There's so many roadblocks and things. But when you have an intention, when you have a mindset and you
Mm.
understand, you're self aware
Yeah.
that when these things show up, you are connected to your higher self. You're connected to this infinite power that brings you everything you're asking for. As these things show up, Jarne, you have the power, you have the awareness to ask yourself a better question. Not why me, per me, this is
Wow.
horrible, this is why does this keep happening. But where's my learning? What do I need to know? What do I need to do next? Where is this taking me? Where do I need to go?
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole dynamic changes. You can be successful in business, in life, in health, in whatever aspect in your relationships, but it all comes back to you. And that's the intention setting. For me, I set intentions every single day, and every night I do a rerun of my day and then set the intention. Tomorrow is going to be a great day. In the morning, start with my gratitude, start with I am,
Taking a deep
my
breath right there.
affirmation.
Thank you. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
It's such a key because like this is something that I'm improving on again as well because
Mm.
setting the and like being reflecting is one thing. I wanted to talk about self-reflection as well because as you were talking, I had how my brain works. I work in visions, right? I have so many visions and I can just see practical ways of myself then right when you tell me a story. Like what I'm seeing was if something doesn't works out, right? And then I can ask myself the question, why did it not work out? Or I change around, how can I make it better next time? Again, to
Mm.
see the positive in it, right? And like how can I make it better next time? And many people forget to ask themselves the easy question that is uplifting rather than just draining. Because if I ask the
Yeah.
negative one, right, what did work wrong? I get the answer. So many times have I asked myself like, or I told about myself, or why did this happen to me? Okay, then I get the answer, but I haven't found the solution. Or I even say things, ask myself questions that I don't want to hear. Why am I so stupid? And I know many people beating themselves up on certain things. And it's again also to bring this our mind into the right space to ask ourselves the right question. And I think this is a key aspect. Though what I want, like how you triggered in me right now, what I can improve in is to wake up and set intentions. Although I am in one-on-one conversations, I have always the intention to be as pure as I can, to be just kind and have a great conversation and to really make people feel respected, comfortable,
Mm.
safe in my surroundings. So this is something that I always did just because I could see the consequences following when I haven't been doing that or when the ego took overhand and I wanted to manipulate
Mm.
things, then I could see the consequences. So I've been very self-reflecting and how do I feel with me being a certain way, with me speaking in a certain tonality, with me having an intention that has been manipulative even at times, right? I wanted to get something for my own sake
Mm.
rather than to think like, oh, is it actually something the person needs or wants, right?
Yeah.
So a big aspect of my life. Yeah.
That's
So
huge.
if we go into this, what do you think if you look at the people that you have worked with or your own observations, like what is a key element that repeats itself for people that is most holding them back right now from having that type of mindset to move themselves to the next level?
Straight away, self doubt.
Self-doubt. Yeah.
You
Why
know,
am I so stupid, right? I ask myself the question.
stop,
Yeah,
stop with the language. No, that's it.
exactly.
Self-doubt.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's awesome. Self-doubt. Awesome. So tell me more about self-doubt. I think people will appreciate the point of view behind
Yeah.
that, or your thought process.
Well, if you think so, self-doubt, it's you doubting yourself. And it is an internationally recognized word, and it is one that is used repeatedly,
Mm,
talking about self-doubt, talking about procrastination, talking about imposter syndrome. But it all comes back to the one circle of self-doubt, doubt and self. So then if we are so ingrained with self-doubt of ourselves, with why are we doubting ourselves? Why do we fear? Why do we not know?
mm,
What is the opposite from self-doubt? Self-awareness. But the majority of us do not
mm,
recognize, do not understand, do not have never heard this concept, or if they do, it's like a foreign language. But the majority of us use self doubt or can relate or connect it to some moment or time in our life.
mhm,
And it's because in this kind of society, in the social media age and before that, we all carry a rucksack of beliefs on our back.
mm,
This is my best way that I describe it. My 7-year-old at the time, who's now 10, Ollie, I always run the context of my language past him. Do you get this? The universal laws, the boomerang effect. And it's because when you're using that simple language, this material, Jarne, mindset is so simple,
mm.
so basic, but
Simple
it's
is what I
not
have in mind. Yeah.
easy. It's not easy because our paradigm, and our paradigm is simply another word for a rucksack of BS, limiting beliefs that we
Hmm.
carry on our back. And not all paradigms are bad, but they're part of our program, which is stored in what we call the subconscious part of our mind. And this part is like an autopilot. It only feeds you back, spits out exactly what you feed it in. There's no filter, there's no rejection, there's no stop, that doesn't serve me. It just keeps taking what you feed it. So, whatever stuff you carry around in your back, you have beautiful diamonds, beautiful nuggets
Diamonds.
of where
Yeah.
you didn't have the self doubt, beautiful moments and elements where you allowed your light to shine, where you had those elements of, oh my God, I feel so proud of me, or I was so courageous, or that's amazing, I've done this.
Mm,
And but then all the other stuff comes funneling in. And then because we're taught to latch on to the negative and the story, and you were saying about the visions, about we think in pictures. Our
hmm.
thought process turns into a picture in the mind. Once you connect the cells, it formulates a picture. And that picture then attaches to a feeling. So it's when you're used to being in a self doubt, in a worry, and a fear, and a lack, and a limitation, when you don't have that understanding. And this is one of the key things, Jarne, because ignorance isn't that you're ignorant, you're hateful, you're rude. Ignorance is that you don't know what you don't yet know.
Mm. That's an interesting concept because I think about ignorance a lot. And wow, it was very, it is, now I'm over it, but it has been very painful for me to see the ignorance in society and in the individuals, because of, if I bunch my head against the wall, it hurts, right? If I make the same, if I don't do it again, I found out, right? Like from that
Some people do.
principle, and some people do. And
Yeah.
so, and this is again it, like the self-awareness and self-observation, like as you do, you sit there at the end of the day and you reflect on the day, right? And then you're able to adjust. I
Mm,
hear it also that the last time before we go to bed, like to just reflect on it is very, very powerful, and to do the healing work on ourselves basically in those minutes, so we can go into the sleep with a clear space. How many people beating themselves up before they go to sleep, and then they're having this with
mm,
them in the nighttime, and then they wake up and they're another day, right? And it's one thing that I've always done to just show again the power of the mind and the right mindset. With when I went to bed in the evening, and I had pain in my legs as an example, or I wasn't happy with what has occurred. I said, tomorrow it is gone. Tomorrow it is gone. And I told me this and I believed in it and it was gone the next day. So how
Mm.
did I came to this? My grandma, I had a warts on my foot and I slept out at my grandma and my grandpa's house and she just talked to that thing on my foot. And she said, she made a cross on it and she talked to it and she said, tomorrow it is gone. And I'm like, yeah, if grandma says this, I believe in it. I just felt it. It was
Yeah.
so powerful. And the next morning I woke up and it was gone. So this changed my whole belief or like strengthened my belief in terms of like the healing abilities that I am having.
Mm.
And I approach life with anything like that now to really go into it. Like my business, my life, I know it is already done. For sure, I do have to catch up on certain things because I have to create new ways of living, right? I have to kind of break out of the out of the box that I placed in that I was placed in, or like creating a brighter box or just expand my horizon. However, it takes work or like daily work, though it doesn't mean that it has to be super hard. Because if how I see it is, if I'm in my heart, right, and I do what's right for me, then life isn't hard. Like life isn't I mean it is painful at times, and I admit that, and I cried a lot and recently more than before because I just it just opens me, like cracking myself open more and more. I just love to
Mm.
go more and more in this because it's just so beautiful how light I become from doing this. But we have to look at our shit to just name it the way it is. We have to look at our old ways of being, and we have to look at like, okay, why, like, how can I be better tomorrow than I have been today? And therefore, I have to learn
Yeah.
to forgive myself for what I did. Have I given my best? Right? As long as I give my best on daily basis and I'm a human being, I do make mistakes.
Mm.
As long as I give my best, then I can go to bed and I can say, okay, yes, okay, maybe it didn't work out as I planned, but mostly doesn't. But I gave my best. My intention was pure. And again,
Mm.
the purity aspect is something that is just so important. If I come with pure intentions, there is no such thing than losing. I always win. I
Yeah.
always gain wisdom and knowledge, right? Like learning from experience, learning from experience, and I'm always learning. So
Yeah.
how can I fail? Right? It's just such a negative word again.
It's
So yeah,
authenticity. Yeah,
authenticity.
that's the pure authenticity.
Yeah.
It's you being your authentic self, what you believe yourself to be, what deep
Mm-hmm.
within your core, deep within your being.
Yeah.
When you can be your authentic self, but first you have to know who you are. You
Mm.
have to understand that you're more than just a physical bag of bones walking and talking. You have to be aware that there is a greater aspect. And this is your higher self. This is the beauty. We didn't just land on the planet with a big bang and God, we're here to work and slave. And some people are lucky and some aren't, and some are rich and some are poor. And
Mm.
we are all made from the one source of pure love. And whether you get that or don't get that, or it's a bigger concept, read in to
Mm-hmm.
some of the most phenomenal, successful people in the world. Look at people that you admire and look at that connection. They all have made it their business. They understand and know how they operate, understand how their mind works, understand how to tune into themselves for the answers. We're all too busy, Jarne, looking for that quick fix, that silver bullet, that magic pill that's going to
Mm-hmm.
fix us. I was 40 when I crashed and burned for the third time. They actually
Mm.
turn out and say, right, I've been shown over and over again what lesson, what do I need to do? And there's no hiding from it. If you hide and put your blinkers on, you'll self destruct at some point, or you'll go through life tiptoeing, always looking over your shoulder, but you'll never live a life fulfilled. But that's my belief anyway.
I love it. And I love where we're going. Authenticity and You just got me right now with looking over your shoulder. When I was younger and I went out night and I kind of went out of the house. I wasn't supposed to. It was already late at night. I had to go to school. I was young. And I went out to go visit my friend. And then on the way home, I felt hunted. I already felt hunted the moment I left the house. It wasn't a peaceful leaving the house because someone was hiding, and to hide is not a good thing, but or like not comfortable at least. But yeah, this just to bring that in. However,
Yeah.
I've done some things. Um,
We all have, Jarne. That's the thing. We all have, but it's how you show up
yeah,
right now in the moment, how you own your stuff and utilize and take the wisdom of your lessons to
yeah.
not repeat it, to
Exactly.
move
Do you
on.
own your life, right? And then again, the aspect that I just mentioned right now, the hiding, right? People try
Mm,
to hide who they are because this is why they don't know, I think, who they are because they hide it. They're not trusting in themselves, and there's lots of mistrust around in like because if they just simply do what feels right for them, if they're following their intuition, then they will have like the life. Right? Though some people say like, oh yeah, they're rich, they're poor, and they, again, separation, and or they do have everything and we do have nothing. And this type of mindset alone holds us back as a collective, or it held us back for many years. Now we're becoming more and more aware every
mm,
moment, which is awesome to see, and the movement, because this is where I came from. I haven't been studying the right people, or I haven't had the focus on the right things. I had the focus on the problem globally speaking. I saw, oh, phones, internet, money, evil. This is the type of mindset that I had because I just saw so many bad things happening with either one of them that I couldn't put my head around, like, also which God would create this reality. So I had those thoughts even before I was 14, 14 more predominant because I moved out of the church and I just couldn't grasp it anymore. I had goosebumps moments in there, like no doubt. There was so much good stuff that I listened to, and I'm like, wow, yes. And then something always didn't resonate completely with me, as if there would have been some distortion or just like something like, it was so good until now, and then something just didn't felt
yeah.
right. But I was questioning myself also from a very early age. Who am I? And why am I here? And I've been on this quest ever since, right? I just wanted to know. I even asked the question, who am I? And I just received or like, no, where am I from? Am I from here? And I just received the answer, no. And I'm like, it didn't make me feel better in this moment. I just wanted to be part of it. I just wanted to, I just wanted to belong. And this is a key
Mm,
aspect again why people lack on authenticity because they try to belong to a group of
not at
people
all.
that are not aligned with them, with their values, or with how they want to live their lives. And again, then the alignment comes within it. If I follow just the wrong people, and right and wrong, another way of concepts, just to place it into a context that is understandable for the listener, then if I don't follow my inner calling, then I'm doing something wrong, and then I'm suffering, right?
Mm,
And then I have to deal with the consequences that are following out of the actions that I take. And many people, they do this over and over again because they don't want to feel alone, right? They want to feel loved, they want to feel appreciated. And then people start drinking alcohol, taking drugs, smoking because they want to belong to a certain group of people. And I've done all of those three things that I just named because I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to have human relations, right? And relationships, a big part. We can also talk about this now because the relationships that we have then with other people, like we feel validation, we feel that we are a part of, and we just long for that connection with other human beings. And I think this is why many people lose their authenticity because they try to please people and they're not following their own inner calling.
Well, the first thing that really stood out to me, Johnny, when you were saying that is I've spoken to so many people, whether they're business owners, whether they're company leaders, and they may be high flyers or on the surface, on the mirror reflection, like me and you talking. If you were to express how that person was, you would say, yeah, they're very confident, they're self-assured, they're proactive, they're really good at their
Hmm.
job. But I get you to pare it back and say, when you go home and close the door and stand in the raw, naked truth of who you really are. Imagine yourself naked, even just stand naked with nothing on your physical body. Just stare at yourself, look yourself in the
Mm.
eye, because so many of us can't do it. We can't
Yeah,
look ourselves in the eye, let alone look at our physical body that is allowing us to function on this
no, I've
planet.
been there. Yeah.
Because there, and I have been there, I used to hate myself. I would look, even after kids
Mm.
and stuff, Jarne, I would be like, who am I feel so lost. My eyes looked lost.
Mm.
I looked like a lost soul because I had just disconnected with myself. I had overwhelmed in a lot of aspects of my life with people pleasing, imposter syndrome. I wasn't good enough. How I grew up, people left that I loved. You're told you're not loved. Who are you? What pretense, what mask are you wearing to other people? Because it is doing you harm. And the more that you ignore it over your lifetime, the more it will build up and build up and build up. When you start to uncover, like peel back the layers like an onion and
Mm.
start really taking that deep dive. That's why I've been doing a deep dive onto me for nearly 3 years,
Yeah.
because I had had that question journey like you. I had had spiritual experiences as a child, as a teenager. I was always questioning, very spiritually attuned with the angels, with higher entities. When my granny passed, I could feel her. When another lady passed, I was spiritually connected. I had those things and I knew those elements. I had different insights, but I still questioned, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? There's something bigger. But then I switched off. I went to drink, to drugs, to different things, different vices, because there's times when you don't want to know. There's times when you're not ready to hear, you're not ready to listen, you're not ready to expand your higher self. But it's when you are, and there's no age. There is no age on this. I have people in their 60s beginning new businesses, beginning a new life. There is no age limit to this. I was 40 when I decided enough was enough.
Mhm.
So it's being authentically you while you're here on this earth, living and breathing.
Yeah.
This is what you need to ask yourself. Who do you want to be? Start now and make every day day one.
Cool. Who am I want to be was a question that I had. Then perfect. And I had this question. I wanted to talk about this 5 minutes ago, so thank you. It's I asked myself, who do I want to be? And this is again in, then I design the live still and create or like and create it, right? I mean, we make little adjustments along the way anyway, but this is a question that I ask myself, and this is again it, what I encourage everyone, like who do I want to be, or who do you want to be? So me standing in school thing was grade 9 or 10. I looked out of the window, level 3, nice view down below to other people walking on the street. And I'm like, wow, I contemplate about life my whole life. But this moment just changed my whole perspective of it because I could see, okay, yes, walking like this boy down there, wearing similar clothes, acting, talking, right, presenting I could do that. I looked at another girl, I'm like, wow, that's weird. But I could be like her as well. I could talk a similar way, although I'm a man, but I could tap into that. I could be her, I could be him, I could be another one. And I could really place myself into those people. And I'm like, wow, if I make different choices, I could be like them. Why have I asked myself those questions? Because I wanted to know who I am. So I've been super curious about this whole thing we call life, like continuously. And though I found out like, wow, if I can be anyone, Like I just want to be me, right? So and I knew like, okay, wow, I think because I th so, some people have similar traits than others, and this is
Yeah.
also great, though the uniqueness that we do have, each one of us, with the experiences, with the stories that we have to tell. This makes us unique. And the way that you perceive it is very unique, right? And with your uniqueness, you go out there and you help people. Me trying to be someone else, like someone else, is not really working too much. I can look up to them and I can see, okay, well, I like certain traits and I don't like them. And then I can somehow apply certain things on my life, though I have to integrate them in my own way, in my own rhythm, in my own speed, and have to be learned to be kind with myself in the way that I'm designing and creating the life that I want to live. And I want just to encourage people to look for themselves, to ask themselves the question, what makes me happy? And who do I
Yeah.
want to be? Because many people, again, they don't do what makes them happy.
Hmm.
Mm.
What sparks joy? What brings you joy? What makes you happy?
Yeah.
What lights you up? What fuels your passion?
And what lights you up, right? Then you get the spark in your eyes back in when you look in front of the mirror. And then when you do, a spirit is back, right?
Yeah.
There it is. And it is like that. You see it in people's eyes. And I was standing in front of the mirror and I'm like, whoa, I'm in a very dark place. It wasn't comfortable. I was also hating myself at
Yeah.
times just because I've done the things that I disliked. So
Mm.
yeah, how can we
Do you know
bring
what
more
a core
joy?
aspect of that is?
Mm.
Is neutrality.
We had
When
that
you are
conversation.
neutral,
Yeah.
yeah, it removes all ego. So what I always say to everybody, no matter who I meet, no matter what audio room I'm doing, whatever it is, I will
Hmm.
always say we are exactly where we're meant to be at this moment in time. Right now, me and you are meant to be on this call connecting and having this
Not
conversation,
last
and
week,
whoever's
yes.
meant to be hearing it, no, not last week, no.
Yeah.
But it's divine intervention, universal attraction. It's whatever it's meant to be. We always try and figure out a plan, figure out the logic,
Hmm.
figure out our left brain or how. But the universe, God, source, spirit, infinite intelligence, whatever you connect to, relate to, there is a bigger plan for us. And you can only understand that when you look back and join the dots, because it's only joining the dots, looking back, where you can kind of see, I wanted that, I wanted that, it didn't work out, but look what came instead. Look at the lessons, look at the abundance, look at the shifts, look where this led me to. And
Hmm.
at the time when we're in the throes of it, you don't understand. It's messy, it's muddy, it's confusing, it's frustrating, it's painful.
Oh,
It could just be a sandstorm. But
yeah.
it's where you're meant to be right now with your awareness. It's asking yourself, and like that, you can look at elements of other people, how they show up. Do you like how they present themselves? Do you like how they effectively communicate? What traits do you enjoy in that leadership? Are they respectful? Do they always have a good
Hmm.
energy? Do you feel that they are authentic when they're talking to you? Do they use good language? What connects with you about another person is something that's already in you, because we are a mirror reflection of what we connect with. Our awareness only knows and understands those joys that we see in others because it recognizes it internally within us. If you didn't have these traits or attributes within, you wouldn't be able to recognize them. But that goes the same whether it's something good, productive, helpful, or whether it's something not so good. There is a
Hmm.
reflection, there is something that is calling to you to say, is there something I need to work on? And always go neutral so you don't beat yourself up, so you're not calling yourself stupid. and go to the what do I need to know here? What's my learning? Do I talk too much? Do I go on a bit long? Because I used to say that about my daddy. He would waffle on about stories. And then my husband used to comment that I would do the same. And I'd be like, that's why that actually irks me. So
Mm.
I would be triggered then to be more consciously aware and not to be not authentically me, but to be more effective in my communication. So it's that thing of, again, being your authentic self, intentionally designing and creating the life you want. That comes back to the traits. If you don't know how you want to be, look at qualities that you admire that you would like to incorporate. That's the beauty.
Yeah, and hang out with the people that you want to hang out
Yeah.
with, right? Or you look up to. And if it's what I did is
Yeah.
because I had to change 2 years ago, I just changed all around and I had to say no, learn to say no to people, learn to be with myself alone. And the people that I was hanging out with were people that I listened to online, right? It's also
Mm.
the way that I then just learned that way. I watched videos on Gaia, listened to Billy Carson a lot. Like for me, the one of the one of the greatest men that I'm observing right now, and the way that he presents himself and the way that he lives his life and the topics a whole nother whole nother level to what the
Another
majority
level.
of the people are talking about.
Yeah.
And those are then the people that I look up to, and I've been super curious about them and their lives. And then I learn out of the things that they say and looked, okay, yeah, how can I apply them into my life? And then again,
Mm.
patience and kindness, because like if we're creating a new identity for ourselves, and then it does require patience, right? In the process. And we have to
Yeah.
enjoy the process. Many times I was like, whoa, I wanted to have it all. I wanted the quick fix that you were talking about. I wanted that quick fix. And I wasn't I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I
Yeah.
stopped eating meat. I stopped having dairy products. I stopped taking drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, right? The whole lot. Smoking weed for 7 years. That I stopped everything in 1 year. Just like bum 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 everything. And my body, my physical body, my identity, my nervous system had to catch up on it. Because
Mm.
okay, yes, I can see myself there, although in reality, and I have to catch up. Although I'd say, no, like time is now, and I'm pretty aware of it. This is why I feel and I talk the way. The collective, we're like kind of have to see like what's my next step to go there where I want to be. And I think this is a great advice for everyone just to see like what's the next best step that I can make.
Mm.
Mm.
Because you need to be, when you're asking yourself, when you're in a place where you don't know, when you're at that crossroads, when you're stuck, when you're frustrated, when you feel like you're going round in circles, that groundhog day, when you're questioning everything, there has to be something better, or how have I ended up here, or the time is gone and it's too late. It's never too late.
Mm-mm.
Never too late to start again. Never too late to just hit the pause button and reset. Every single day, I will have a reset moment. I have 3 young kids. It can be crazy at times. They're off in their school holidays. Everybody has the moment in work and home life. And that's where you talk about the harmony. That's where you talk about the alignment.
Mm.
That's where you talk about that balance journey. And it's that resting state. When I began my journey, I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to not feel that anger, that frustration, that hatred of things, of people, of experiences, of things that had happened. And when you just sit in that gratitude of being healthy in this moment, because again, like you said, you do everything and then you're like, you can't wait, you're impatient, you want everything now. But my question is, if you got everything now, and a prime example is a lot of people that won the lotto, if they're not used to money and they won the lotto, the majority of them have it spent within 5 years, or they lose it, or they go bankrupt, or they blow it all, and whatever. And that's from statistics, from actual
Mm,
research. And it's because their money mindset programming, their internal values or worth, they burn through it because they still don't feel worthy. Money is an amplifier. It amplifies everything in their life. The greed comes out, the ego comes out, not in all aspects, but there's so much more. When you have a concept, an idea, an identity, and awareness of who you are in truth, and you can be authentic to yourself, abundance just doesn't entail that finances. It is that happiness which you can't buy. It is that
yeah,
peace and calmness of mind which you
awesome.
cannot buy, that rest and state of contentment. And that's where you open the channels to allow
Mm.
everything to flow.
Slowing down, right? And
Mm,
putting the putting the pause button and just being in that moment rather than trying to rush to go to the next
mm,
step because I have to, I should do, but to be in the present moment with that feeling or with the tension that is there because I'm on a crossroad basically in almost every moment of life or every moment of life we're on a crossroad, but when we're aware of it, oh, that was good. But then sitting in that tension and like, wow, like what I have the opportunity, right? Like my hands do like this. I'm staying here. I'm like, where do I want to go? And if I go this way, like, can I deal with what is happening? Do I want to go there? Are the consequences that I can deal with, that I could repair if something goes wrong? Because sometimes I do have to take risks, right? Am I proud of me if I go there and I try it anyway, although I'm afraid? Like those moments, some people try to go the safe route as well, and
comfort zone.
comfort zone. But life is like
Mm.
being in that tension. It's not always comfortable. But this is why I'm having an interesting relationship with the concept surrender as well, because what should I let like I am like so it's an interesting concept around that as well. What I got confused with as well, because people said you have to surrender, and I'm the moment that they said let go, it did resonate on a deeper level. This is how I found to it with the letting go part. However, when I'm sitting in the tension and I'm just sitting in my shit, just to name it, life sometimes comes around from so many directions at the same time, and then I have to make decisions that are important. It's super
Mm.
important. Like me not being in my home country, Germany, for the last 3.5 years. I think I moved places 20 times. And I was standing
Wow.
in front of decisions of moving places many times as well. And like people that I hang out with and people that I have to say goodbye to because I wanted to move on and I had to do certain things. I said to myself what I wanted to risk. What I learned is to sit with it first rather than to make a decision out of the emotional state because I haven't been a neutral when I made this. When I'm in the tension, I feel it, I'm a neutral. And then even the longer I hold it for a few days before I make the decision, maybe even the aha moment comes from the out of nowhere just because I was contemplating about life and the right idea hits my brain and I'm like, yes, I'm certain now. This is it. And happy that I waited for a few days because I allowed it to come to me. Or another example, it could even a person comes around the corner who tells me a story of their lives. And I'm like, whoa, I'm happy that I haven't took that way 2 days ago. Like, I mean, you never know, right? So this is
Uh,
how I the conclusion that I came to now is that it's actually cool to sit in that tension and to just see. what it's going to be presented in the world, and it's a test, right? For me, life is a test. It's a game somehow, right? And like, how can I win in this game is when I'm authentic, open, vulnerable, right? Vulnerability, key aspect. Many people like having that heart barrier and they're not
Mm.
willing to open themselves up. But at the moment that I'm honest and I communicate about where I'm at, about my fears, my situation with people, things are opening up on such beautiful ways, right? And to bring it back to really leadership, what do you think is leadership all about?
That's a great question, Jarne. And what I would say to you is for leadership, what leadership is leading, but you're not just leading other people. You have to be a good follower. You have to have that form where you are following your life to gain these attributes, to gain that authenticity. And if you're leading a team, then you have to lead from a place of love, from a place of self awareness, from a place of gratitude, from a place of understanding, from hearing other people's perspectives, from seeing different points of view and not just being tunnel vision in your way. And then it's about a holistic overall view of what is the values, what is the mission as a leader in your family. It's what's your core family values. For me as a mommy, my core family values entwined into my business is as a leader, as showing up as the best that I can be, being authentic by living, walking my talk, talking my talk, by showing up every day as my authentic self. I show my voice through my actions, not just my words. When I do something that hasn't been in alignment with me, I show up and I done something last week, but I own it. I speak about it, I acknowledge it, I don't wallow in it, and then I move on with the learning. So, leadership is knowing what direction you're leading people in, your followers in. Is it coming from a place of authenticity? Is it coming from the right place for the core values, the core mission, especially for companies? Like, what are the values? What are the mission? What is the outcome? As a business owner, it's the same thing, but how you lead in business, you'll usually lead that way in life. So if you're being inauthentic, if you are letting ego take over, if you're like, I'm the boss man and it's my way or the highway, and this
Mm,
is get this, and this done, and I don't care if you're overworked. So all you're going to get back is the same slap in the face that you're putting out. It's
yeah,
not productive. You don't have the right energy. So leadership is leading by good example.
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
perspective is like you mentioned it right at the beginning. Having the perspective and being like also curious what other people's perspectives are,
Mm,
right? If I'm living in my world and I have only that limited view and I'm not open to hear other people's opinions, how can this work? Like I'm not like leadership, I think how it has been in the past eventually was there was one leader, we may even call him dictator, right? And it just goes wrong because it's such
mm,
a limited point of view that we have experienced. And if we would actually include also the democracy, right? If we would actually ask the people before we make important decisions, right? Let's ask country, country X, country Germany. Let's ask the population which decision we are to make because we value the people that are living in this country, right? We're
mm.
working together as a unity. Because if I need to learn, I need to know what your perspective is if I make a decision that has consequences for both of us, right? Like even when you tell me like I connect new dots from the words that you say because and I'm learning from you and it makes me
mm.
more happy because I can brighten my Osiris, my it thought like Osiris in my head. I wanted to say horizon. Um,
Uh,
um, Osiris, and yeah, no, however, this was an interesting energy coming in right now. Like, how can I, right? How can I just be open and ask questions to my fellow co-workers or the people that I'm working in a team with, my team members
mm,
when I play a team sport. When I played soccer my whole life, like just some people are super selfish. They think the whole game just is about them, right? The moment they get the ball, they just play on their own and they don't see the profit or like the benefit. If I pass to you and you can pass back to me and I'm free now. I have less struggle. I save energy. I let you know,
yeah.
it can be we can act in a very, very smart way when we learn to play together. But again, like for me, it's in the relationship that I do have with others, and it comes back to the self. Like, how am I treating myself? How am I talking to myself? Right. And this is then again the reflection to the outer world. And on the journey of like awakening, I think, and each step kind of looking to become better or every day, the self-reflection is a key aspect. And then again, why am I feeling a certain way? How can I improve? Right? If I
Mm,
adjust certain things and the tonality that I'm talking with you, how did I make the person that I had a conversation with feel?
mm,
Right? Like people, we have to become aware of the consequences and of the,
mm.
yeah, the
If you
result.
think of the ripple effect, do you know when you throw a stone into the pond? And so this is why I love working with business owners and company leaders because they're further up the ladder of the change, of the point of contact of change. So if it's a
Mm,
business owner, they are the one that created the values and mission for their business, for the service, for the reason that they've created whatever it is that they're creating. They have a value and a mission for that was created. So they are the point of change. They are that stone and they have now gone in. And the ripple effect for them then expands out to anybody that's in their frame, anybody that's in their employment, and the people that they actually serve. But there's a point of contact of their value and mission. And this is why I find it so important, and for company leaders as well. Because if you're the point of contact for change, it is how you are self aware, how your knowledge, your information, because people are looking up to you. People are at a stage where you're on another level, not at a better level. You're just on a different level of change, of achievement, of making things happen for a specific reason, for an intention. So, this is why it's so key for leaders to actually walk their talk, to
mm,
understand the power, not from an ego, but the power of the ripple effect. And that begins with them internally to
mm,
go out. And a lot of leaders that I've spoken to are business owners. It's not the financial that's an issue. Sometimes they'll say, oh my God, I've no time for anything. But my question to you is, if you were hospitalized and you were kept in a hospital bed, you would have all the time in the world until you were let out.
mm,
Do
mm,
you wait? Do you crash and burn? Do you wait till your business burns to the ground? Do you wait to go bankrupt?
yeah,
The same with company leaders. Do you wait till you have a pile of people off sick, till your environment, your workplace is so toxic, till your productivity has gone down, to the space is horrific, and you leave, or people continuously leave?
yeah,
It's be that shining light. When you shine your light, when you're willing to do the work on you, you give others permission to shine their light. And this is just, oh my God, Jarne, it is massive. It has been huge in my life, huge for me, my husband, our boys, huge for the people around me, huge for my business. Just when you be.
It's
your authentic
beautiful.
self, do that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see the like the moment that we make the changes within ourselves, that we see the world changing as well. And the reward that we gain
Yeah,
from making those
completely.
changes is like not to put in words, right? Again, like the love, how I think you mentioned at the beginning, the measurement. It's not nothing we can measure. Love. And
No,
I had this
no.
the observation in the last days, maybe even today, that some people they do measure something that is not measurable. So they think they miss out.
We tried it. Yeah.
Think they miss out. But if I am, right? If I am, then like I'm not missing out. If I am love, and I don't have to fall in love. I don't even know if I want to fall in it. Maybe I maybe am it. And
Well, I am love.
yeah,
You are love.
yeah,
It's your resting state. It's your birthright. It's
it
internal.
is.
It cannot
Yeah.
be taken away.
Mm-mm.
It's your awareness around the concept,
No,
around the identity
that's awesome.
that changes.
Yeah. And this is great, right? I mean, this conversation, I know I will have you back. I'm pretty sure about that as the last months already have been super intense and
Brilliant.
beautiful and just the
Yeah.
way that ch things change. And I know that you will have much to talk about, right? And we could talk for hours
Always said.
anyway. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for being here, right? And
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me on, Jarne. I love this conversation. I just love it. It's about
yeah,
raising awareness, isn't it?
it fuels. It fuels.
Yeah.
I'm straight. I'm energized. It's like I could go for hours. I really could talk. Like I'm not getting tired from doing those things. And I think this is a
Yeah.
great provement. If we do something that we love, right?
It fills up your
We're
cup. Yeah.
yes, right? And oh, yeah, it's just awesome to see and the reward that are coming out
Yeah.
from just being who you are and what you can do good, right? Because every human can do something good. This is an advice that I want to give now before we end it. Every human has something to give, and every human has something very, very special to give, right? If when we're tapping into who we truly are and we're willing to go and do the work for ourselves and see, okay, yeah, me making that decision, taking that action, do I love myself for doing this? Right? I think it is as
Mm.
simple as that. And sooner or later, you are there and you're happy and you're fulfilled and you're just like, wow, I wake up and I have the angels singing in my ears. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful. Like since March, I started waking up and a song comes in my head with like angels surround you, love surrounds you, everything surround you every day, all day long. And it's like, wow. This is how I woke up, and I was terrified from waking up one day. But it's again a place to work in it. So if there would be any advice that you would give leaders, and I believe like everyone is a leader, at least you lead yourself,
Hmm.
right? So if you give an advice for leaders, which advice would that be for life generally?
Well, for people in general, Journey, it is this. We have a choice. All of us, all us physical walking, talking beings, we have a choice.
Yeah.
I am the boss of me. You're the boss of you. So we all have a responsibility, not to others, but to ourselves first and foremost. And this is key. If we are the boss of ourselves, we think for ourselves. We create the pictures in our head, either intentionally or unintentionally. But we have that choice to choose. We have that choice. We then have the choice to attach a feeling or kick that feeling out there and become more aware and say, that
Mm-hmm.
serves me or it doesn't. And the last thing we have is the choice and the power to either take action or react in a way that doesn't serve us. And ultimately, all that comes back to your attitude, to being authentic to yourself, to being
Mm-hmm.
self aware, because it equals all your results. So if you're sitting here after this conversation going, God, I'm not sure where I'm at or what I want, You're exactly where you're meant to be at this moment in time. And just ask yourself, write down pen and paper from a neutral point of view. What are my results? How is my relationship with myself? How is my relationship with others?
Oh.
What are my finances like, my health, and my work or business? And on the other side of the page, just draw a line. And on the other side, write what it is that you do want. Write the opposite of all the rubbish things that you've wrote, all the things that self doubt, procrastination, fear, anything you feel that's holding you back that you've written, vomit it all out of your head. Because
Mm,
when you get it onto paper, Jarne, it clears that space, it creates a vacuum, and it gives you clarity of mind. And then when you start looking intentionally, looking then, okay, actually, if I don't want this, then what is the opposite of this? Because if I don't want this and it's not serving me, then write the opposite. This will
mhm.
serve me better. And then start focusing on the love and stuff and the things that are going to help you. So that is my advice for anybody. It is a phenomenal starting point. It's where I started, and it's something that I teach all the time. So it's simple, but it's powerful.
Yeah, simplicity was in 2022 like the main goal, to simplify my life. And I made it pretty simple with the beginning of the year, which was cool. So, however, thank you so much. If people want to know more
You're
about
so
you
welcome.
and get in contact with you, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Donna Martin, the Good Life Coach, and you can also find me over on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah,
Awesome. Donna Martin, the Good Life Coach. I will place the
yeah,
information also in the chat so people have it
lovely.
easy to find.
And
And yeah,
Johnny, just to touch on, sorry, just to touch on that as
please.
well, I was a co-author of the Awakened Warrior Toolkit. It was a phenomenal book. The 10 of us done sharing our spiritual awakenings. So now that we're on the topic,
Awesome.
if you're not sure about spiritual awakenings or what it means or context, I'll share the link. Go read the book, buy it. It is
Awesome.
phenomenal. Yeah,
Yeah, great. Good job. The, what's the name again? The Awakening?
the Awakened Warrior
The
Toolkit.
Awakened, so
Yeah,
the Awakened
Warrior
Warrior.
Toolkit. I'll share the link with you for
There
Lulu
we go.
and you'll be able to have a look there. Yeah, but there's loads of practical tools, help, useful stuff there that you can actually take away, and stories of relevance of part of my journey and other people's. So you can see by joining the dots
Yeah,
how to move forward then as well.
powerful. Awesome. Alrighty. Thanks
Thank you.
for being here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching you to make it more for you. And yeah, it's been awesome, an awesome conversation. My name is Jarne. You'll find me on Instagram, Healing Magic 27, and YouTube, where you'll find this video anyway, Healing Magic 27. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, learn to love yourself. I think this is the key aspect of life. Do what you love and love what you do, and you're on a good road. Thank you.
Thanks.